FX has been on fire this year, and here's another banger for them that you must check out. Let's jump into my review of the new series, The Patient. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the series The Patient, which is going to be releasing on FX starting August 30th. There are 10 episodes released weekly, and you certainly do not want to miss out on this one. Like, FX has been on fire, and if you have not been keeping up, catch up on all of their content right now, because it's this one series after the next that's just been so good. And this one I knew I had to check out. First of all, Steve Carell. We're talking about from The Office. We're talking about from The Morning Show. We're talking about from Space Force all the way into The Patient. He just cannot miss. He's such a fantastic actor that him as a lead, I'm just easily invested into. And I think he's a good actor because whatever character he's playing, he embodies that character. You never see him and, you know, him as the person in the same person in the same type of character multiple times. You know, they're always very different, very unique, and that just shows you just how much you know, how serious and how much passion he takes into playing these characters, that he may look the same, but he certainly ain't playing the same character. And here he is again now as a psychotherapist who recently lost his wife, who finds himself prisoner by a serial killer who has an unusual request to curb his homicidal urges. This is crazy when you think about it. First of all, again, Steve Carell, who's playing Alan, who is the therapist in this. Yeah, Domhnall Gleeson, who's playing Sam, who is this serial killer. I'm not going to talk about any of the other characters, but I will say that a lot of the supporting characters also really shake things up. From Linda Edmonds' character, from David Alan Grier's character, like, all these supporting characters in here really just continuously make this series so unpredictable. And just, it's two questions you ask yourself. Well, one, the title's The Patient. Who is the patient? That was my first thing. Who is the patient? And then the second one obviously is, how is this all going to resolve? And that keeps you at the edge of your seat the entire time. And I dare you to also go into this series with the same mindset. How is this all going to resolve, and who's the patient? And you'll see what I mean once you start to get into it. But again, you know, it's 10 episodes. They're about 22 minutes each. The finale is a little bit extended. I think it's almost close to 50 minutes, I think. And it's just crazy, the events that occur in this. Now, this is truly focused on the characters. So you're not getting the police activity or investigation revolved around this, because yes, he is a serial killer, so you think there has to be like a investigation side of it, but it's not. It's truly about the characters here. It's about Alan, and it's about Sam. That's all they're worried about here, and the hostage situation that's going on in Sam's basement. Now again, Alan, a therapist who was kidnapped and is tasked to help his patient stop his urges to wanting to kill people. He even's labeled as the John Doe killer. So yes, if you love a good murder mystery, you're like, your hands and your palms are sweating, because you're like, this is what I love. You know, you have a killer who has sort of a profile attached to them, and you're trying to study it. And I gotta say that, listen, Domhnall does a fantastic job as a serial killer, because he comes off so normal, but he's so not. And those are the best ones, the ones who don't appear to be, for lack of a better word, insane or just, you know, manic or whatever it may be. But like him, he just comes off so regular until he's not, and that just really makes his performance so interesting. You're just invested because you want to know what he's going to do next. And, you know, again, Alan, being in this hostage situation, also grieving his wife. You know, he's Jewish and he's having sort of issues in terms of his family. I mean, listen, let me put it this way. While he's having all this time, you know, he's reflecting back into his own situation, his own family dynamics, and so on. And obviously he's trying to do what he can to survive. Like, that's the other big factor here. So like, yeah, you're seeing him also have these moments of reflection, and one may even say to kind of stop his own urges, because listen, actions have reactions in this, and some of these could be fatal. So you got to be very cautious about what you do, because your next move can be your last, you know, in this dire situation. But, you know, again, he's trying to also just try to survive. That's the big thing. He's trying to help this guy, but he's trying to survive. But him helping Sam also helps potential victims. So, like, there's a lot of things to consider with all this. And then Sam, man, I got to say, like, he's OCD, and his biggest issue is that he just has a hard time letting things go. He's a foodie. I should note that, because he's so intelligent about his cuisines and whatnot. But dude is OCD, but he totally has a hard time letting things go. But, you know, seeing the approaches to one another throughout this really makes things tense. As I said, actions have reactions, and it just really gets intense and difficult for everyone involved. Like, everyone involved, even outside of the two of them. Like, others' perspective into this really makes everything intense. And it's truly about trust and communication between the two of them, which is a really hard thing, considering that one is a hostage and one is soliciting the help of the other. So, really difficult dynamic going on here. And like I said, a lot of time for self-reflection. There's also some, so like I say, mental blockers occurring, and the tapping into your consciousness. Like, yeah, and there's some disassociating going on here. There's a lot. There's definitely a lot. And with that too, we're also getting to learn a lot about Alan's history and his family struggles, which is also tied to a lot of emotion and pain. So like, it's a lot going on. I just can't stress it out. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say, like, while there is a lot of intense moments in this, there's also some moments that's kind of funny that probably wasn't supposed to be funny, but I certainly did laugh. And I can't stress enough, the supporting characters really shake things up. You know, this is one of my favorite series I checked out this year. A couple of the other ones are also on FX. But again, there's good performances here. There's really good storytelling here. The script is good. The performances, I already said that. I just love just the build, the atmosphere that they create in this. Everything is tense, and you just don't know what to expect next, because you got that mystery aspect, you got that thriller aspect, there's certainly drama involved, and it's so unpredictable that you just don't know what's going to happen from episode to episode to episode. Oh, and speaking of cinematography, there's a little bit of noir in a couple of episodes, which I thought was filmed spectacular. They also really add to like the feels and the chills of everything that's happening. And then Steve, man, again, hats off to Steve, alongside of Domhnall, who just really make this series work. Like, the two of them are fantastic. Mr. Carell, Mr. Gleeson, and certainly is worth a watch. So folks, when you do, jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this series. Stay tuned through the entire season. You do not want to miss out all 10 episodes. And as always, jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it. I see you back around for more reviews very soon.